Hello, hello. Let me ask you this. Have you ever taken fear, whatever that fear is, to take leaps in your life? If you have not, hear me out. You can do wonders with that fear, because fear is not something that is totally irrational or unnecessary. Actually can be a great motivator for us to do something better and bigger in life. Yesterday I did a podcast. I was a guest in a podcast, and the name of the podcast is Breaking Up with Fear. So I'm not going to get into too many details of the podcast because you can listen to it later when it comes live, and I'll share the link. But I will say a couple things that I didn't mention yesterday on the podcast. So in the podcast, I talked about my fear was basically breaking up the fear with my fear of, aging actually without independence and unhealthy, right? With diseases and really not ending my life, living my life to the fullest, being incapable or immobile to do what I truly love, especially being alone. And what I mean alone is, without companionship and kids and all that, which, for most people that's not the case. So anyway, I talk about, some of the leaps that I took in fears related to, this diseases that were important in my head, talked about the fear that came from, seeing my mom aging, and I'm projecting these fears on myself and how my end of life would be. I talk about, fear about losing my independence and what it would mean to me, fear of leaving my career, which eventually was not part of the process when I started. And I say career in finance, which was a very successful career, to do what I do now. So, but what I really want to take, what I want to talk about it today is there is stages of change, right? And I went through those stages as I kind of went from fear of those things to actually taking action and taking, from went through the knowledge to the action to eventually help other people. That's what empowered me, right? The knowledge and the action. That's how we feel empowered. A lot of times, we get knowledge, and we have, we're surrounded by information, right? And that is not really powerful. The power comes when we actually take action. Now, there is multiple phases of this change. And, I'm not a therapist, but I love to study and read about this. And this 5 stages of therapy that's common out there, therapists discussed, are the, pre-contemplation phase, which is the first phase, which is like a kind of denial, right? You're really, you're in denial of this problem. You might be seeking for help, but really there is an underneath problem, and you really don't see it. And then there is the contemplation phase, and there is the preparation phase, the action phase, and the maintenance. And bringing that to the health and wellness and fitness world, which I'm so passionate about, I've had clients in all those phases, right? But it's the most transformative ones is the ones who stick to the round. And I was able to change, about every aspect of my life because I stuck to it and I had a big why. That's why you hear me talk so much about having a big why, because that is the driver, of my emotions, and my actions. And yes, we have roller coasters. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. And we have the ups and downs, and we fall apart sometimes. This is part of this change. And if you ever seen a therapist, which I have, and I highly recommend, it's part of like a coach, a therapist is like a coach. Part of me coaching my clients is to see this kind of transformation and help guide them through it. There are limitations, obviously, what I can do, and how I can guide them. And sometimes, that bound with a therapist, can help them break those big walls so they can continue the phase. And a lot of times, just walking to a coach who holds you accountable, give you the guidance, will do the job, right? But I had clients who came with in total denial, with the conversation like, no. And eventually, step by step, when you guide them, they start seeing the answer. And let me tell you, people a lot of times are looking for this, quick fix. There is no quick fix on the road of really meaningful change, right? We gotta understand that we're going to go up, we're gonna fall, and every time we fall, that what is called failure, which is really not failure, is a learning opportunity. We gotta take a step back and say, hey, how do I improve from here? And sometimes that's the benefits of having a coach with you to help you to stay aligned and on track, right? So know that these phases that I mentioned, they're real, and we have to kind of, understand that we're going to go through them, and we sometimes don't know which phase we are in. The consistency of every day waking up saying, I'm going to get closer to that goal, and having a support mechanism to help you get there is indispensable. Yesterday in the podcast, one of the items that one of the parts that we discussed about is surrounding ourselves with those individuals, right? Because I went through this phase of kind of reevaluating my relationships, which is part of this preparation and action for change, to reevaluate these relationships. How do I add value, how they add value, and how did they support my overall goal? And this is not a short-term goal, it's a long-term goal, right? Which was breaking down my fear. So by taking action towards building and sustaining a healthier lifestyle, that I feel empowered that, hey, I'm doing my best, and I continue to grow and explore different ways to stay on track. It is indispensable that you and I, build those relationships that's going to support us. A lot of times folks are not surrounded by those relationships, and it's really, really challenging to stay on track. So there is going to be, in this part of phase, there's going to be ups and downs in that, and you're going to realize that, what, this might not serve me well. What can serve me better? Right? And I think that there's a lot of fear about the social, impact, and relationship impact, and so on, when people really want to change their lifestyle and health. Trust me, you are going to change in that respect if you're thinking long term of your health. And your relationships are going to change, but they're going to change for the better. It's not like you're getting rid of everybody in your life. You are going to treat them differently, okay? And I know that from my personal experience. The time that you're going to give to certain relationships are going to be more or less, or you're going to branch out because you are so driven to that whatever goal is that you have, that you're going to bounce into it, and you're going to meet new folks that you're going to feel like, wow, this is powerful, this is the tribe, and so on. So I just want to talk about that today, because these stages of change are real, and there is no quick fix, folks. We gotta be just aware of them, and notice that support is going to be part of the process, and maybe a coach like myself or somebody else can help you through it. Alone is pretty tough. I'm not going to say that is impossible, but we're humans, and we need the connection, and we thrive when we're able to discuss, when we're able to to have that touch, that connectivity of others that are aligned in that same mindset, right? So if you have any questions, do not hesitate. My name is Maria Horstman, your health and wellness and fitness coach at bfabbu.com. Know that you can do this when you want badly enough, right? Just there's a few steps that you will need to take because you wanted that badly to take. So questions, let me know. If you want to reach out, let me know. bfabbu.com. You have all the ways to reach me out there, or put a comment in this video wherever you're looking at, YouTube, Facebook, whatever that is. Much love to you, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.